Is now live on YouTube, it says.
Yeah, I'm seeing a little progress bar that is connecting Zoom with YouTube in the browser somehow. And now I'm forwarded to a live stream. And I'm pasting this in our chat here. That's the new watching URL.
Okay, sharing it now, yeah?
Let's see. Yeah, I can see us, and now that it's shared, we're on, right? So
yeah,
it's now live on YouTube. Yeah.
We are. So we just casually start as if everything was.
Yeah, you start talking, and I'm posting the new link.
I start talking.
Maybe should we give it 5 minutes so that at least someone will hear our beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then we should give it a moment so that people can sync up with when they have questions. No, that's.
Can't we play someone play some music in the background, something?
I don't have anything here.
Davide.
Davide, you have some music?
I only got those drones.
Yeah, put some drones in. Good.
Perfect.
Okay.
It's a bit COVID.
It's noisy. That's fine.
Where is the new link now? Sorry, I missed. Is there a new link anywhere?
Yeah, in the chat. You can see it in the chat. Probably someone posted it.
Any control on the game?
Okay. So we have 6 people watching now. We should maybe just start talking and kicking off the session. Huh?
Is it ourselves?
Vadim, we don't have a video from you, that's correct?
Yes, I tried hard, but it seems I fucked it up with my webcam controller. So that's after yet another reboot, I stopped doing it.
Okay. But the screen works, so.
Yeah, that's the most important.
Okay, so we have 11 watching. I think it's time to.
I think people are switching over now more and more.
Sorry, the link is not the same one before.
Yes, we got a new one.
Ah, we got a new one.
That's a problem because we couldn't get it running.
Yeah, I put in the Facebook event, so hopefully someone will see it there.
Okay, Joreg, kick this off.
Yes, we do it. Hello world, my name is Joreg still. Welcome to the second worldwide vvvv meetup. Due to current situation, we improved this meeting and went online. I don't know what you see there on the screens. I'm just pretending you see a matrix of people who have joined the meetup. That's our lineup, and I want to briefly introduce the lineup before we then just get started and hear from our panelists. Also, whenever you have questions, just post in the Riot chat or in the YouTube chat, and we will try to get your questions to the panelists and have a discussion here. That would be great to have a bit of a discussion, not only monologues by the presenters. So, to my right, I'm not sure if this is the same for you. To my right, I have Nathan.
Hello.
Maybe everyone wait.
He's up in my screen. He's up.
Yeah.
I'm up.
He's here.
I'm over you, Joreg.
We don't need much introduction for Nathan. He is like one of the super early adopters of vvvv, and he's probably the one who has used vvvv Gamma the most of anyone in this world, I guess. And I wanted to have him on today because he just recently released his latest version of Elementa, a UI library for vvvv Gamma and Skia. And I wanted him to show and talk about his progress and show the latest incarnation of it. So that's Nathan. Then we have Alvaro.
Hello.
Down here. He's joining us from somewhere in the woods of Madrid, near Madrid, as he's
Exactly.
And he is, I know his username since forever. It's, which one is it?
AKA Visuals.
It's AKA Visuals, right?
Yeah, I have different users along the vvvv history.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with LaSalle. Now that you're sitting there and you look and speak like LaSalle, like Ari.
Maybe because he's Spanish too. Maybe, but maybe I'm a little more old.
So he was anyway like, with vvvv a long time already, and recently, just 1-2 weeks ago, he posted something that looked very interesting on the VIP channel, on the Work in Progress channel in the forums. He posted 2 new libraries that he was working on, some noise libraries. I was very intrigued by that, and so I'm hoping to hear his progress there and what it's all about, even what he's doing there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then
We will take a look.
just below me, I have Dominic.
I'm actually above you in the stream, but yeah. Hey.
Dominic joined us, I don't know, 1-2 years ago. He popped up on the vvvv, in the vvvv universe, and he right away jumped onto BL, and he's probably the second most prolific user after Nathan. He's built his own complete own audio light control application already, but only 2 weeks ago he started something very interesting, which is called patch therapy. I love this idea. It's an online meeting therapy session for people who need some treatment regarding vvvv, and he will tell us a bit about that. Then we have down here, or anywhere for you, it's David. He's calling from London.
Yes.
And his username is not so familiar maybe, but I'm sure most of you know his work because he was performing at Node 15 in the great...
long time ago. Yeah.
That was a long time ago, and it was the big nights of audiovisual performances at Node 15. And the thing is, he wasn't there in person. He was...
I was in Dubai, but I sent my patches to
Yes.
the sound the guy who was doing some sound.
Yeah. So we all saw your work.
And
already.
it worked everything. I didn't know that. I wasn't expecting that.
That was beautiful. We saw that. That was 5 years ago. And 2 weeks ago, he popped up again in one of our webinars. And that's why I first saw his face. And we noticed that
Finally, we met each other. Yeah.
and he's still on vvvv, and he's working on some great things that he will show us in a minute. Then at the very bottom, I have Vadim.
Yep. Unfortunately, I don't have a face
We have
for this meeting. Because yeah, I tried hard to connect some funny avatar manipulated by a neural net, but didn't succeed in 5 minutes, and broken sub connection to webcam. So
it looks very manipulated. I don't think this is. It looks very manipulated, this image.
yeah, well, I will send you the link in the chat when I'm speaking a bit later when I find it. It's quite fun. It worked okay, but not when I tried to connect everything at once. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So Vadim is with us, and he's showing us his latest adventures into machine learning, algorithmic art production, real-time graphic.
Well, to be honest, it's not like the latest. I'll speak to a couple of words about latest maybe, but I mostly would show one of the quite important for me and quite nice project for using both machine learning and vvvv.
Mm-hmm.
So and we'll talk. We'll say a couple of words about how it went and. Okay. Anyway, it will be kind of project presentation, very short one, and then maybe speak about what else can be possible for like linking. Unfortunately, for me, it's not like top of the age. It's still beta, not the very latest one. But anyway, I was quite happy with that.
Cool. So we will hear about that in a bit. Looking forward to that. And last but not least, of course, in my stream at the bottom and to the left are David and Jeanne, who you know both. They are running the Node Festival, spearheading the, what's it called? It's a Verein in English. I didn't know that. What is it?
Association, I would say.
There is a Node Association that they're spearheading, and as you all know, we had planned the Node Festival in October, and now this happened, that we all have to sit in front of our screens, and we don't know if this will go away anytime soon. We have David and Jeanne here, and basically we're starting with this now. That they will talk to us and about the latest developments and thoughts regarding Node 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's not that I have a presentation, and from my side, I don't even need to share my screen, but I wanted to quickly say a few words on the status and what you know this situation is meaning actually for us in the production. And of course, Jeanne and me, we were discussing a lot, and also with the broader team and different people over the past weeks intensely. And there have been, you know, many issues that we had to tackle and face, but you know, at the moment, the dust is clearing sort of. Yeah, it clears up a lot to us, and we wanted to take this opportunity to share a little bit what we're after. And as you know, Node it has always been like a mixture and a hybrid form of being a community meeting and being also a public event, mainly to a broader audience in Frankfurt. And we still wanted to combine those two fields into one event, and then Corona came, and now we had to face the issues of how can we actually, you know, rethink the festival as a festival, because obviously it is not so easy anymore to you know only meet in person, even that we still think that should be a festival like. And the general idea is to not say we're doing an online event and that's it. The general idea is to have a hybrid environment, basically, where we connect people that are online joining us. For those who cannot, are not allowed to, or just don't want to travel to Frankfurt, because we cannot. Nobody gives us the guarantee if people will be allowed, if we can even have an open public event running in October. Officially, at the moment, in Germany at least, they say events should be possible by beginning of September again. But you know, as it is, like there comes the second wave, maybe not, and then they shut it down again. And so in this uncertain status, we have to tackle this. And that's why we said, let's put together a program that has a stage, that has a central hub that will be in Frankfurt. And then the Musortum would serve us as sort of a live TV studio that we'll put together also with the help of the great people at NSYNC, Eno, Valerie, Alex, and so on. There's a bunch of people in Frankfurt working with us on that to bring it on. And then we're going to use that stage for an audience that is hopefully there on site, hopefully a lot. So that doesn't mean to us that the message is not, let's go online. The message is, let's bring as much as we can to Frankfurt, but if it doesn't work, we'll do it online. And that's why we have been researching a lot into what kind of frameworks, apps, and helpers and businesses are out there that help to structure our content. So we have sort of a community hub that is online. So we connect basically online. The registration for that will hopefully together with the website come up in the next couple of weeks. And then we prepare a program that can be on stage or will be on stage. And we have a decentralized online audience as well as an audience in the space. So that's the general idea, how we're gonna go on. And obviously this tackles some, there's more complex things when it comes to think about the exhibition. Maybe Jeanne, you have a few words on what you have been working on before Corona and now after Corona from your side of perspective as a curator for the exhibition and for the leitmotif that we have this year.
Yeah, maybe very, very briefly, because it's always boring to talk about things that are not going to happen, I think. But maybe very briefly, as you see, I'm already, I'm imagining myself into the Node atmosphere, showing Quayola's work in the back. So I'm mentally always already at the festival. And this was kind of interrupted after 6 months of concept work and preparations, which is really a bummer, as you can imagine. So just very roughly, for us, it was very important this year to try to really get a local community, let's say a broader interested local community of people into media arts, but also into DIY practices, electronics, and so on and so forth, of Frankfurt into the community, to have more formats where the V4 community and other audiences interfere and interact and actually work together on questions of a not yet named topic, but as you have understood from the V4 call, we are trying to also, us as a Node, are trying to tackle questions of sustainability and technology and the implications the climate crisis also has for our field, our very personal field, as we are very specifically tackling a community. So this said, we are also trying to find new ways to make this happen, to find ways to invite also people from outside of the community into this community event. And this is a challenge, of course. But yeah, you will hopefully soon get to hear more about how this is going to happen, and probably not with a very classic formats, but yeah.
So what we did is maybe you saw it already on the Riot vvvvv chat. What we did is we opened up a matrix chat room towards Node 20, where you guys and people, if you have ideas about that or suggestions or concerns or whatever, you know, just drop it in there so we have an ongoing communication, because I think we also need you as an, you know, first of all, ideas, your projects, your teaching content, your workshops, and so on. And also, you know, I started a little conversation of why the call didn't find a bigger response from the community. I'm trying to understand this, how this relates to Corona and how this relates to questions of teaching VV Gamma. And so we can have a conversation actually, and, you know, get your ideas in there. And then we can talk, you know, during daytime there and have a little discussion there. But yeah, so the broader message is it will happen. There's something popping up very soon, and we want you to come to Frankfurt. If we cannot make it, we'll have it online. We'll have everybody online. You know, we figure it out. But the core message is it's going to happen. It's not that we're thinking of, you know, canceling or shifting it. So stick to the idea. It's that October is no time, and ideas in the channel. I think that's it for now, huh? Joreg, your mic is off.
That's great news. Cool. And just to reiterate for people who haven't understood this, if you want to join this discussion in the chat, then join us in the vvvv channel, and from there you will find it.
Yeah, I will post the link in the YouTube chat, and also for the upcoming meetup now, I will regularly check the chat and try to bring in the questions that you guys have online here in the conversation. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Jeanne and David, for that update on Node. And now I would like to jump right into Didiv's presentation. So can you share your screen?
Yeah, I am. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Perfect.
So yeah. First, small introduction, because you don't know me. I've been using actually vvvv for a long time. And this is only programming language that I know, because I'm an architect mainly. I do mostly 3D design. So a long time ago, I was interested in how to just generate and starting from scratch for new structures and systems and everything. So I'm also very interested in electronic music. So I started using this because I was using Windows. Actually, I was looking for something visual to program, and I found this program. After using Archaos and Resolume for a while, I jumped into vvvv, and that's it. I also tried to change, go for Touch Designer, and but honestly, I really feel comfortable in doing mostly the sketches, and the prototyping is really, I use a lot of Grasshopper and other parametric stuff for other for my work, but I really feel comfortable in sketching in vvvv and doing something. Now I discovered some really great tools like exporting OBJ and going into other softwares to do my 3D design work, also to generate ideas very quickly. And that's what I'm actually working now. So let me share my screen. I got 10 minutes. What's happening? I don't see you.
We see that. We can see it.
You see my screen, but I cannot see you. I don't know who to talk with. Okay, that's okay. All right. So for the one, I wanted to show some, like, quickly my work here, very quickly an overview that this was what I was doing for the Node years ago. And this work, I mean, I've been working on generative structures for a long time. Let's say I started doing some video clips for some guys. They were in Berlin, I guess. Like these visuals, like 3D visuals. And then I was always more interested in this and started to think a bit more let's say seriously, it's a big word, but just for like in my pipeline when I start in concept, I'm trying to blend my passion for audiovisual work, like live audiovisual work, with my work that it's very boring sometimes. I do this stuff, like I do projects, architecture projects. I'm a freelance.
Is that your own studio or?
Yeah, I'm freelance. I have some collaboration with other people. I mostly work like in experiential spaces, like let's say stands, branding, and showrooms, window display, all this stuff. So,
the studio that's you.
Yeah, that's me. That's mainly me, my partner Nuria, that is listening. She's in the same room. And some other people that support me sometimes, depends on the size of the work.
Yeah.
So mostly I do concept and 3D work. So I'm into this. So that's why I'm really focusing on 3D things. So this thing that I'm trying to develop, like very much, I'm first of all, I'm trying to make a software for myself. But it's letting me do almost everything, like audiovisual work, even exporting OBJ, exporting X, Y, Z position of any particles, any atom that I'm going to develop in 3D space in vvvv. What else? Just printing in 3D, like writing OBJ models and everything. I started this when they just the lockdown started in London, so it was like 3 weeks ago, 1 month ago. So it's.
What's your idea of a scale that this should be printed?
I'm sorry, just come again, please.
What's your idea of a scale that this would be printed?
The scale is it's much. I mean, it's depending on the printer. But I already talked with somebody into this, really into 3D printing, and the size would be around like the height would be maximum 40 centimeters, 30 by 30, something like that, for making one piece. Not with the. I don't remember the name of something with synthesis. Like I don't remember. I'm not into 3D printing, but I would like to develop some kind of design, not art, but just useful things for just for a house, for a home, for just beautiful to see, and a lamp, or just to place on your cupboard, for your wedding party in the.
Yeah.
I'm not defining myself as an artist. No, I'm just a designer. So whatever I do on design side. So I just design things like this tool. I'm trying to design properly, even if I'm not a programmer. There are many. Maybe talking with you is very useful, because there are many obvious things that I'm trying to discover, and probably I spend days just to figure out maybe easy things to understand. So let me explain this a bit. If you have time, just a few moments. So mainly this thing is the main button is this one, edit and play. So if I'm staying on edit, that's what I did some days ago, and it's in this memory. This is just all the rules that I'm giving to some spreads like arrays of instances. The instances are this one. I got some instances somewhere, and I would like to show you the file where these instances are. If I change this is the first one is a grid. Then I change the X and Y resolution. At the moment, there are only 5. Now I change this to 6, to 13, 14, or whatever. And this is the resolution we say. So these are simple instances where they applied pipe frame from instance symbols, pipe frame. And if I change it, it in real time showing me the boxes, and this is something else like segment. Anyway, there are many these. So I just start in this, and then this is the length of the spread, and the X, Y, Z, X, Y scale, rotate. These are the other things like circular or spherical spreads that are going to adjust into one. It's difficult to explain now. There's no like a sharp equation for this, but maybe you guess what I mean here. Like transformation, translate the scale rotation value and the width of the transformation, the phase, the center in this case here, the center of the spread, and then the count of everything. And after all, I apply some deformer, like there is a node called deformer, like twist, just twisting everything. And then I can apply some noise, and then they move. Then after, when I like the shape that is coming out, I just save. I write this interpolation in a new file that I call, for example, vvvv, and I write it, and it goes here in the animation parameters. There's a new folder with this new one. So when I like it, I make a sequence of this, and then I play them back from this same folder. I have all this stuff, for example, I don't know, koala. This is a koala. So this thing is linked to the engine, the audio engine. So just audio is off now. What is actually, can you hear it, the audio? Hello?
Yes, we can hear it.
Right. What it's actually doing is just taking the X, Y, Z of an array of points. So the X movement, the Y movement, and the Z movement is going to, these three movements are going into this wavetable module, and it's actually reading it back from the dynamic buffer, like this node. This is my bottleneck. It's incredible because I need to just reduce a lot the count of the points that are coming in. Otherwise, it's not going to go to 25 FPS.
So if you design those tools, you do this as a study for yourself,
yeah.
or how is a tool like this related
to me,
your studio's work?
Sure, the meaning of the tool, the word tool means everything for me. Like vvv is a tool for me. This is a tool inside vvv. So I'm trying to, like I said at the beginning, I will develop a live situation with this, like more a story behind. So I will do it more properly with the usual 30 minutes show, just starting with few lines and then developing something like I always did. Then at the same time, I'm using this for daily tasks, like for example here, the thing I didn't say to our audience is that then after writing this, and this is the performance part, then here I can write atoms, X, Y, Z. It's a kind of, the atom is a piece, actually. It's, these are files used by, this is 22 megabytes XYZ file. These are files used by the biologists. This file just write XYZ information that I can easily import into Blender, because it has an XYZ importer, and then I can just get all the points that are here. So, and this is one thing. Then I have the OBJ model that I can write. And the OBJ model, I write it without the pipe frame. So it just automatically switch to the simple instances. And then I work a bit in a Blender or in Grasshopper to get the nice shapes to paint in 3D. I just need to optimize the so on. And then I can write a sequence of OBJ. And this allows me to import the shape keys into Blender and making like this other 3D animation like down here. This is just one model, but with kind of morphing, the same of input morph for many entities like you see here. Like this, and this is like this file is not so heavy at all. So it's,
what's the reason you bring it to Blender? What are you doing now in Blender with it?
Actually, no, I'm okay. I'm doing like a 3D animation for just for. I'm working. It's a long story, but anyway, I'm working with a guy who's a cinema producer. He was asking me to do some 3D animation with the tracking. That's why some days ago in the forum I was just writing something with this. So I actually doing a 3D animation. So, but the thing I was experiencing that making arrays and things like that, like thinking so easily, so quick in vvvv. I mean, I tried a lot with other with other software like Blender, for example. I use also 3D Studio Max, but I mean, this I developed this. Let me close one moment. If you're interested, I can show you more.
We are actually already over time, but
yeah, if you want. I mean, like
to wrap it up, this is so you're using vvvv as a procedural design tool to develop
exactly. Yeah, even for the, you can see this. You can see this. This is a kind of kinetic structure done with like this is done with the same. This is a bit. I'm not going to show this mess, but yeah, I'm going to write the OBJ sequence and writing down just into Blender. Translating it into Blender and making the 3D animation.
And what do you miss, like in a pipeline like this? Could you name something that is sort of absolutely missing, or always an issue to come around with when you think of vvvv now?
For this one, for the 3D part, is completely fine for me now. The only thing is that when I was writing the pipe frame was not working properly because I don't know for what reason, but all the sticks of this pipe frame were not aligned. So even when you write an OBJ, the vertex are not welded, and you need to spend a bit of time just welding the vertex and vertices. What else? And the audio part, in the performing part, the part that I like more actually, the one with the audio and so on, the big issue is the audio. You cannot get easily into the audio engine because I mean you need to read back all the values from the dynamic buffer. This is just killing the software. It's
the slow part of the patch.
I'm sorry?
It's the slow part of the patch where you read back.
It's really slow. So I need to first reduce it, to reduce them, all of them before, and then to read them back like an average, a mean of them, and so this gonna work. Yeah, that's mostly everything.
Cool. I think just to not exceed the time that we've set ourselves, we should probably move on now. But are there any questions from the audience? we have.
I see compliments.
Compliment, yes.
Compliments. Well, you can go through them, but not a real direct question until here.
Okay, then let's just move on. And obviously, Dominic, I wanted to get you first and simply forgot about it. And I was so curious about DDIV stuff that we forgot about you. But now I'm super curious about patch therapy. Please roll your.
Yeah, well, I understand that DDIV tools are really pretty, so I totally understand. Okay, let me share. And hey, I'm Dominik Jančík, otherwise known as DomJ. I want to let you know about midweek patch therapy. It's an open weekly meeting that I've started to provide a regular platform for V4 beginners and pros alike, as well as other artists to come together and help each other out. So whether you're a beginner struggling with some VL concepts, an artist unsure how to turn your ideas into reality, a pro wanting to share, or just anyone wanting to hang out and listen in a friendly atmosphere, you're more than welcome to join us. So far, we've done 2 sessions, each lasting a little over 2 hours. We've tackled a fair share of Gamma questions, talked about libraries and technologies such as Stride, Kairos, Elementa UI, NDI, Schema, you name it, and discussed our various side projects. And it was with participants coming from all around the world. So it would definitely be a shame if all this got lost. So after each week, I turn these talks into bite-sized, little informative and easy to watch videos and put them online for whoever couldn't make it. I hope to see you tomorrow or any other Wednesday at therapy.domj.net. Thank you.
That's the spirit we love.
It's amazing. It's really
super cool.
It's so cool. And can you make us a little short report of the previous installations? You had 2 so far, right?
Yeah, there were 2. First one was a bit later, so it was slightly more tired, but the normal time is 5:30 p.m. Central European time. And yeah, usually it starts out by someone joining in with a question. You know, they got stuck in a patch somewhere, and you know, it's usually something quite simple to people that are a bit more experienced or just know their way around VL. But for some people, it's real showstoppers. So it's nice to get them over that hump, and then slowly the session usually turns into a more just discussion of technologies or just going into libraries deeply and sort of talking about possibilities of various expansions to them or how it could come together and just hanging out really.
Yeah, but I really like this idea that I'm sure that a lot of people are stuck with things all the time. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a beginner, but even when I'm working on something, often I'm just stuck for an hour on something. I'm sure any developer knows that. And then it's such a great offer of you and all the other participants who are knowledgeable that you can actually bring your project and look at it together.
Absolutely. Yeah. And everyone gets stuck. It's just different levels, but even anything can come up, and it's nice to be able to talk to someone about your issue at the moment. And of course, there is the forum, there is the chat, but it's just something a bit different when you actually can talk to someone and discuss it right at the spot. So probably the next best thing to just meeting in person.
I think so.
Super cool. And how many people joined for the first and second session?
It's been around 10 people going through each time. I'm not really, forcing people to join on time. It's just open for some period, so it's usually a flow of people going through, and there's a peak, and then there's the both ends of the session are it's less people, but it's usually about 10, and it's been working out well with this amount. In the case that it somehow really takes off, then I hope that there's also a lot more experienced people that could maybe take a smaller group with them and try to help them, and we can split the room into more breakout rooms, and that way handle even more people. But depends. The thing is that it's like every week, so it really sort of so spreads out the people over the sessions, so maybe it will like stay manageable.
Yeah, but if everything goes according to plan, there should be more people joining with questions over the next months. It's an amazing offer and service you're doing to the community here.
And I'm if anyone is wanting to help out with hosting and just you'll just come and like be there the whole time, then I'll be super thankful, and then we can somehow switch places. So yeah.
Cool. So the next one is tomorrow at what time? 5:30.
Tomorrow 5:30 afternoon.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Central.
There's a handy timer on the website, so
nice.
Whichever time zone you're in, you can just check it out, and you will see when it starts. And the website, you can find all the important things there. There's the meeting. This is the Zoom embed. So if you join in, you can straight up join from the website or from a Zoom client. And there's also I'm trying during each session and sort of to keep an overall track of everything. I have a Trello board where I just put whatever is going on at the moment in the session, and then it becomes a log for more information and things that we went through. There's some things that are not even on the YouTube because I'm not taking everything that happened in the sessions, just filtering and selecting. So this is a more complete overview to just give you an idea, and I guess in a few weeks' time it's gonna be quite overflowing, hopefully.
Yeah, and I really appreciate the outtakes that you do on YouTube. I see it's the additional work that is to go through the whole recording again after and cut it out and upload it. I really appreciate that, and it's nice to browse into these like very short snippets, 2-3 minutes often only.
Yeah, it's a lot of ahs and pauses and off-topic derailments that I'm cutting out to just make it one cohesive
really cool
piece of information.
Okay, thanks for that.
Thank
you. We will dive into the next presentation by Alvaro. Please unmute yourself. I can unmute you.
Yeah. So
screen.
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen and to introduce myself a little and to show you what I'm doing in the last times. So I'm working with vvvv since maybe 10 years, more or less. And I started using it as a visual tool because I was involved in live visuals for many events, festivals and clubs. Like I was starting like my career as a visualist, no? I discovered vvvv and I really found a very nice tool to express myself. and to find the way to show my creations. So my inspiration usually is coming from organic and natural stuff, you know. So you see like the posts that I have here, and most of them are created in vvvv, like this one, with some high resolution 3D models, but always trying to keep some organic sense, you know, like these ones. So I always looking for this natural way of image that vvvv give us, you know, because it's very organic and very different than other softwares that I use. So that's why in the last times when Gamma comes, I was a little confused because as many people that comes from vvvv, I didn't understand the main thing and the most of the things. So I say, okay, it's the time to learn, it's the time to start doing things, it's the time, even that I take time and to start again from scratch. Okay, let's try to do it. So I saw that one of the main features of Gamma is to port libraries. But in some cases, I'm not an advanced user to can port it. But in other libraries that I search around, it's easier to get it, no? So in this case, I found like two very nice libraries. I started with Fast Noise. That Fast Noise is one library that from 2 years ago, something like that. And it's intended to work in real time. Sorry for the helicopter that is coming. To use in real time, okay? And actually, they ported to C++, to Java, to Unity, and to Unreal. So I say, okay, let's try and see what's going on. I'm going to show in vvvv because the examples that I have are done in vvvv. The Fast Noise integration, it's very simple, but it works like quite nice. So I have 3 nodes that we will see now. And the first one is the Fast Noise 2D. So what it does is basically takes an input of points in the space as a normal noise node. And then you have integrated directly all the types of noise, the fractal method, interpolation, frequency, all the parameters that you can access in a very, very simple way. So in the first beginning, I was dealing with like async task and other stuff like loops and trying to understand how it works. And in this case, I reduced like just 3 simple nodes, the noise source. The throttle, I put it because when you work in high resolution, sometimes it's better to put some frames of throttle to don't make the frame rate drop in the async task. And the render noise, that is basically just an async task and a loop of points that give us the value and get it out to the main node. So then you can really easy patch like very crazy stuff with noises and all the stuff. You can access to many parameters like the black level, white level, and you can just show in a visual way, not in like an image, like a visual way, like different types of noise. So there is another example that I want to show that is like the grid version. That is more interesting, and is the one that we posted before. So here you can have a better view. Wait, I will put this here. A better view of the noise. If I stop the offset that I have it here, okay, and this, perfect. So here you have a better view of the types of noise that the library give us. Okay, some of them, because of the parameters, needs to be tweaked, like the Perlin. And actually what I did is like to map the values to the color, so we can know what are the values based on the color, and just to take a grid. And it's like kind of nice way to visualize the noise and to see how it works. Okay, and there's the third example. I'm going a little fast because I want to show the other libraries, so I'm trying to be fast and simple. Okay. And the other example that I did is like the 3D, that is almost interesting, that it's making the same stuff but in 3 dimensions. So you are getting the input points in 3 dimensions, and then you get out the noise in 3 dimensions. So it works in the same way, same parameters, same style. So I think for me to keep it simple, it was the main key, and I think I get it in this way. So it's easy to anybody starting to gamma, to dive inside and see the nodes, the capture regions, and the simple stuff. So how it works and how can make us make great things with not so much effort. Okay. Afterwards, after I make this, I was a little frustrated because of the resolution of the noise, because this is a CPU noise. So when you are making a loop and you create a lot of points, you have the disadvantage that the performance really goes down. So my original intention was to create noise maps, not to create noise values. And then I was a little frustrated, and I came across with lip noise, that it's very, very famous library written in C++, and it's really quite oldie, but it's very interesting because they say that they generate coherent noise, and coherent noise is like kind of pseudo-random, smoothly noise. Usually, the people use it to make like terrains, InterAgent, or other kind of complex maps. And I say, okay, this looks fine. So there is an upcoming port of this library that is, the name is Sharp Noise. That is the net wrapper. And we can take a little look because it's more extensive than this. And just that you see the possibilities. So in this case, I take another approach, different than the past noise, because this library has a lot of nodes and a lot of ways to create like kind of noise. Sorry. So you have like many sources of noise, and then you can combine them, modify, transform, and do really crazy stuff with it, and then to mix them together to create a very complex map. So the way how it works, it's synthesized too, because I create like the engine that it's creating the noise map texture, and then to render it the way that we want, and then outputting the values as an image. So it has 2 parts. It has 2 inputs. It has the base map, that it means to which kind of map we are going to draw this noise. In this case, let's say that we are going to draw a plane, okay? And then you have sharp noise sources. You just create, like, for example, a simplex noise, and we connect it, okay? Okay, as you can see, there are some bugs still, but yeah. I make a little version that works by the moment. So then you have your simplex node. You can choose the resolution. Now I'm 400 by 400, but you can work in 512 by 512 in real time without not so much problem by the moment, okay? So then you are taking just out the image. This is a RGBA image, 16 bits, so it's pretty interesting. So the nice thing comes when you want to create some other complex maps. So you have, for example, 2 different sources. That is below noise, that we have it here. Okay, that is totally different. It has its parameters like any noise, so we can adjust it. And then you just say that you want to make like a combination of both. So you just can add them or multiply them. In this case, we are going to max them. So just plug one and plug the other. And okay, we are just adding the 2 noises. And let's say that we want to change a little the frequency of this noise, and just to modify the values, no? Because so we have here very interesting noises. One of the ones that I like is the terrace. that determines like that. What it does, it takes an input spread of values and separate the colors, so it gives you this sensation of different aids, like in a terrain. Okay, so let's just check it out by itself. We need to feed it with a spread, and we feed it a spread, and let's create some points. Yeah, so I create 4 points, and as you can see, we create different 8 values. So here I have like a preview. Let me check displacement. I need to fit this. Yeah, and I maybe need to exaggerate. Okay. Yeah, so here you can see a little better what is going on with the textures and with the modificator. And then you just can simply add it again to here and add it back. Okay, so let's put the simplex here, sorry. Yeah, and then you have like, yeah, so this way to create like really a procedural textures or procedural noise from the scratch is very, very, very powerful. And I really enjoy the last times because fast noise is like kind of, okay, it's working out of the box, but this is like really modular way, so everybody can create like different stuff. So here I have some more complex stuff that I prepare just to show you how to combine and create more crazy stuff. So let's take this out from here. I have this very little, sorry, I will make it more big. I don't know why the Zoom is not working. Okay. Okay, I will show it here because we were working. So for example, you have like other issues that are the transformer. So you have like translate, scale, rotate, displace, and turbulence. So let us add a displace, and the displace takes like one source noise and then 3 source noises for each of the axes. So if I just plug the displace and I add, for example, another 3 sources, that there are many sources, so you should check out, for example, cylinders, and another one that will be Berlin, and one rigid multi. And then we are going to start to feed the noise with one of each of the, yeah, that's now, I mean, not prepared, but if you start to tweak it, the values, you can really create a complex map, you know. So
I think we get the idea. It looks really elaborate, this library, and
I think it's very powerful and very simple.
Yeah.
Sorry?
My first question would be, additive. What do you think?
I got a question. How can you make that preview? Probably you know you say that, but I really like the preview of
this preview.
Yeah.
Yeah, this preview is just the output. I create an output image. Actually, I get the output array in color, but I convert it to image. So just upload the image and to a preview in vvvv. So the output by
there's a preview node. Oh, okay. No, yeah. I mean the sphere, not the preview.
The sphere. The sphere is just it's a patch with displacement mapping. It's instance models.
Displacement mapping.
Yeah, and tessellators and displacement mapping. The other example is with bump, like normal bump noise. That it's actually is nice too, but you get less realism. But yeah, it's, if you make more bump, it's nice too. Okay, so
what is your plan? How you wish to develop it further? Because I saw on Instagram you have amazing stuff, you know, more figurative, everything.
Yeah, I'm near, but I really understand in many nodes that, for example, I didn't import it yet at the moment, and they are more complicated, but the main thing is in the engine, because I'm trying to optimize the performance. By the moment, it's quite nice. There is nothing running in a sync, until now, so it's only one thread. So I expect to put different threads for different process, so we can get more performance. But yeah, hopefully, if this thing is going on, because I will stay here in the booth more time, so probably next month I can give a first pre-release. Just for before the time ends.
This one is not released yet. The other one is.
The other one, the BL Fast Noise is released. Actually, there is a little update that I did with the categories because the nodes were not in the right category. But this is not released. But I'm planning to release in May because I think it's very powerful and that everybody can take it and combine and use it in a simple way to create things. So just to one of the last two features to finish the presentation are the inside the renderer, and one is the light. So the light, this now gives me an exception, as you will see. But the light, what it does, it's like create a virtual light and just give more detail to the noise. So you can, yeah, you can like get other side of the noise, as I say, okay? So it's very interesting.
Question in the Riot chat. Arzeno is asking or suggesting, how about doing tooltips for the noise data type?
Yeah, sure. I mean, actually, all of the noise modules, they have tooltips, so they tell you what it's doing. I copied from the library, so all the nodes by the moment have an explanation, simple explanation of what they are going to do. So to make people easy to use it.
I'm wondering, I think maybe Arzeno, what he means is like a tooltip, like with the image. You see when you hover the image output, you get an image tooltip.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but the other nodes are not generating an image. No, it's some module.
Yeah, they are generating values, and I mean module. It's a class I call module, but it's not an image. So the image is converting from the noise map that we are generating here to there.
I see. Yeah.
For example, now I'm generating a plane map. If I put a sphere map, it will generate a rectangular map that fits to the sphere in a more perfect way.
Yeah, but there, I think there could be a tooltip for the module data type that would actually have an engine in itself and just generate some basic preview.
The idea, I guess.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about it because you can get out the values. I mean, the raw values of the noise, but I came back with the same problem than in fast noise, that if I need to get all the values, I need to make a loop. And in this size, a loop is not going to perform well. So maybe there are some way to get out some kind of tooltip apart from the module, but actually it's in this case not, but this is what it gives me out. Gives me the properties of the noise, but doesn't gives me much more. Okay. Anyway, I will try.
I think that's what he meant to see that right away.
Yeah. I would like to interrupt us here. We're way over time. It's amazing. Everyone should look at this. You can get it, at least the other word, the first one he showed us. It is, just to mention it for people who haven't understood that, it's available if you go to the forum, to the work in progress section, the blue one, and you're looking for, what's it called, the first one? Lip noise?
BL Fast Noise.
BL Fast Noise. And you can download and play with it. And hopefully we soon get this version also.
Yeah, hopefully. I hope that you enjoy, and just because I like to make tools that are easy for the people, and I think this is very, very creative stuff to make complex things, you know.
Absolutely, it looks amazing.
So thank you for your time, and see you soon.
Thanks for sharing.
Everybody. Yeah, and let's continue, Joreg.
Cool. So what's left? We have Vadim and Nathan, and I would like to have Vadim next. Vadim, can you hear us?
Yep.
Cool.
Do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Let's see your screen.
Yep. So, couple of
timer again for 10 minutes.
Introduction. This will be like some kind of illustrated show. So I've been doing real-time visuals for about 20 years, mostly as a VJ. Then about 10 years ago, shifted to some installations, mapping and stuff, doing mostly vvvv and shaders. And a couple of years ago, decided to switch to something totally new because everybody was doing shaders at the time. So I went for, I have digged into neural networks. First, because it's cool, and second, because I really felt it's like new shaders. So also some kind of not really controllable, but very interesting generative stuff. So that's enough. And first, I would like to showcase some project of the previous year. It's art project of Azerbaijani artist Orhan Mamedov, and he asked me to like do all the backend. I mean, to realize, to implement in general his idea, and the idea was about creating generative patterns, traditional patterns. Obviously, they call it Azerbaijani patterns, but anyway, like it's the same in Morocco and Turkey, etc. But it doesn't matter as far as they're nice, and the idea is more or less okay. So it was some LED ring hanging in the black room, or pretty impressive setup. With 4-channel sound around, and some kind of information panel nearby to showcase that it's all real time and stuff. So here is a real setup which I used then. Unfortunately, at the moment when I shared my screen, it dropped to 2 FPS from 30. And at the exhibition itself, it was running around 50, 60 usually. Yeah, well, so that was quite really nice project. Well, did I say it? It was made for Viennese Biennale. It was one of the main installations in Azerbaijani pavilion there. And we decided to make it like proper. That means totally real time, total real setup, nothing rendered, everything is generated totally in real time. So the sound was generated from Maximus P. The image were generated by GAN, Generative Adversarial Neural Network. And they were, those images were integrated into some 4V setup, and then went to that nice LED ring. So the integration was made mostly with just standard means, like the visuals were sent from the Python to 4V via Spout, like old school plugin, not real, not a new VL1. It worked quite okay. And the controls for drawing, for like animating that gun sequences were sent from 4V to Python via OSC. So that, in general, that was it. Also, this nice information panel, obviously, with some splining animation illustrating the idea of progressing, growing neural network from the lowest resolution to the full scale. Some logs, code, plots, and samples from the real training process got in sync so that the spectators could feel how it went in general, and obviously some kind of hardware monitoring in real time.
But in the visualization in this info renderer, the visualization, is it based on what we also see left? Is there a relation between the live data in the info renderer and the output?
You mean this part and this part?
I don't see your mouse now, but
yeah, you mean that the things which are shown on the information panel, they are mostly illustration. The only real-time thing on the info panel was that hardware monitor at the bottom.
Okay, and the rest is an animation that's pre-done.
Well, it's animation, but it's animation based totally on the real data. Like
okay.
The plots, the drawing plots, training samples shown in the training process, going from the very low quality as now to higher and higher resolution to better quality. And the logs which are on the left text window beneath them, it's all in sync, and these are all real data which were gathered during training process of the model, which then produced these visuals.
And the splines on top?
And the splines on top, they are just a nice visualization, because Orhan asked me to produce some kind of whatever that would illustrate somehow the work of a neural network. So this is first kind of like structure a bit similar to what usually is used for to show up as generic neural networks, but just made a bit more nice way. And again, here you see that it goes from the like few layers, these vertical layers with like separate neuron blinking, and we have more and more neurons on the right coming in. That's an illustration how progressive GAN, progressive growing network, works in general.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, starts from the lower levels and goes to the higher levels.
It looks very beautiful. Yeah. Indeed.
Well, we tried hard, in fact, and it was my first project for Venice Biennale. Hopefully not the last one. So yeah. And I have to say that on my part, on this part, everything was well, quite rock solid. I finished everything about 2 weeks before the show, and I have let it run on the remote server where I was setting it up, located somewhere in Baku, in Azerbaijan. And I have let it run for those 2 weeks, and when they came to pack it, and I connected to see, it was exactly in the same state, with the same FPS, with whatever. But as usually when we came to the venue, and the guy brought his new version of a Maximus P sound, and we put everything on one server, everything went a bit tricky. So eventually, the girl who was guiding the exhibition in the pavilion had to restart it at least once a day, so that the sound doesn't stop, that the connection is not lost and stuff. But it's just a matter of management and time. As I said, that it was running on its own for weeks without any glitches.
Yeah, that's a pity. Well,
that was amazing. That was not the only usage of the for that project, because also to produce such a nice, such a smooth animation, you usually needs to have at least thousands or tens of thousands of images, and Orhan managed to gather and clean up only about a few hundred. And then we had to think about how to augment them, how to make like proper more variety from it. So first we just we decided to drop some most like complex things and go for simpler ones, not like this one, but like this one. Let me put it here. So I split the whole data set for a few.
We're now at 10 minutes.
Huh?
We're at 10 minutes now.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Then, okay, for augmented is not a most important thing. Two more like recent fine things that may be useful for integration is first the animation of the so-called latent vector that it is input to the generative network, so that it generates those nice images. And this animation can be quite simple or maybe much harder, but it's also at some point you may want to have more complex animation. For instance, here I used some kind of scaling approach to produce not just one square, but a few samples at once. But if we put the same latent, it goes it produces the same image over there. But for like in some of recent work, I just split a screen for parts and put separate latents to every of the parts to producing few images at once. And obviously that's quite a nice idea. I'm still working on it. Loading in fact some kind of masks to the as an input to the network, so that it generates one part in this corner and another drawing in this corner. Like, okay, this one is quite extreme. It has in effect the screens here is split on 4 parts. And obviously, here masks is quite soft, but it can be harder. And obviously, when you speak image masking, you speak immediately video mapping and stuff. So it's quite perspective approach, I guess. So that's why I think that next step will be obviously to integrate it with Fovi or some, I guess, with Fovi to use some kind of noise masks or some whatever.
Yeah, imagine this in combination with Alvaro's noise. No?
Yeah, that's good, but I have to say that like nice noise of Kyle MacLean library was, I guess, was making about the stuff as well. So I'm not pretty sure about 3D stuff, but I think there were also nice 3D noises. But anyway, yeah, it's nice to see it on VL as well.
So we will have you back once you have researched this, and you will show us the next iteration of your project.
We'll be glad.
Can I just have a quick question?
Yeah.
So the rendering of the images itself is actually done in Python, right? If I understand correctly, all of these animations and transforms are in Python, but it's controlled by vvvv parameters. And then
yes, for V is only for controlling, for pre-processing and post-processing. All of the heavy work is done within Python by TensorFlow or PyTorch libraries. Cool. And another one pretty nice possible application is that for one of the quite usual requests is to animate some existing images. like this one. For instance, this is also a recent project for State Tretyakov Gallery in Moscow. They had a really nice big exhibition devoted to Russian fairy tales, and they asked to animate some painting of famous painter Viktor Vasnetsov with neural networks. So I think that it was quite funny. Eventually quite nice project as well. But this one can be controlled somehow, but not really obvious. Another approach quite popular these days is to make 3D from the picture. These are some demo animations. All of them are made from just one photo, from just one image. So it's the neural network calculates the depth from that image and then can fly over this 3D scene. Or like here, for instance, also very recent work where these are all just paintings originally, and they were animated either by kind of slow motion morphing to each other, by some translation of the motion from video with face onto that paintings. Sometimes it's not going that well, as you see, but sometimes it's quite persuasive. And also, again, like 3D, making it 3D when you can fly around or do some 3D transformation to the object. And obviously, the next step would be to integrate just the camera from vvvvv to make it in kind of real time. I'm not pretty sure about exactly this neural network, this implementation, because it's it produced a very nice result, very like polished, but like this one. But it was quite slow. But the previous one, which I showed, is really performant. This was rendering like, as far as I remember, 70 frames per second.
And this is where I want to stop you, Vadim.
Yes, I am exactly finished.
This is becoming too trippy, and we have to sleep after this. So,
okay, thank you for your attention.
Let me, but still, like 1 minute. There's maybe 2 questions to give them, like what, maybe picking out one. Andres is asking, how fast can you do real time and at what resolution?
It depends. For progressive GAN, progressive neural network was well, did about okay, let's speak about, for instance, 720p, like 1280 per 720. For progressive GAN, it would be about 8 FPS. For style GAN and the recent second style GAN, it's about 15 FPS, I guess, on like modern card, like 1080, 2080, something like this, up to maybe 20 FPS on 2080i. I didn't have that.
Yeah, it's amazing. I see there's reactions and responses on the chat. So I think the topic of style guns and neural networks and vvvvv is somehow hot and related. So we should, you know, take this up and see how we can solve better integrations to the software and like teach others to do amazing stuff like you do here. That would be amazing to put something together, also for the festival, maybe.
Yeah, thank you. Well, in fact, the main idea when I was starting was to do something totally new, because the main point of neural networks is finding patterns everywhere. So it's more interesting to grab to somehow like bind together different media like sound, visual, text, I don't know, some stock graphs, whatever. But till now, I'm a bit stuck in the visual area yet. But anyway, it goes around, goes up and wider. So let's see where would it lead us.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Vadim. And this brings us to our final presentation by Nathan, our doctor. Sorry for leaving you so long, but I put you at the end because everyone is waiting for your presentation, so that everyone sticks on the screen.
Boring stuff at the end.
So please show us the latest information of.
Let me show. So do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So last week I released officially this vl.elementa library, which is a library that I started to develop almost 1 year ago, actually, during the residency that I was doing at the vvvv studio. So since I needed a UI library to control another software that I developed, I wanted to create a library that was generic so that everyone could use in its own softwares and programs. So I came out with this. So last week, I officially released it as a contribution. So you can, it's a nugget, so you can install it directly from Gamma. So yeah, Joreg, you asked me to patch something with it, simple. So just to show in principle how it works. So I can create a new document and reference Elementa. Then let's create a renderer. We need a root, an Elementa root, which is the node that basically talks to the renderer. And then I would say let's pick a very simple widget slider. And here we got a slider in the renderer. Let me change the space of the renderer. So this is one of the widgets. There are many. Now I'll show you later, maybe. But the principle is that I really wanted something very simple, patch-wise. So every widget is a single node. Obviously, it comes with some configuration pins, but when you get it, it's very simple. It's got a position, size, and you can scale it, and it just return a value. So that in this way, you can use these nodes in your patch and directly connect them to any value in your patch. So you can build automatically, you can quite fast, you can build a UI to control your patches. So
it's even bi-directional, no? You can even set the value from the patch.
From the patch, yes. In fact, if I change here, obviously the widget reacts and synchronizes with the input values that comes from the patch. There is also, to mention, there is also an on interaction output pin, which means that it works with observables. So to get the exact event of the interaction, so to have more synchronized data. So yeah, this is one of the widgets, but then let's say that we want to have another one. That could be, I don't know, just a value widget. And let's say that we want to stack them together. So let's pick stack Y, which expect some widgets. Okay, and they are already stacked in Y. So let me increase a bit. This is one of the layout nodes that comes with Elementa. If I go in the category layout. There are some like columns that are automatically arranged columns, or rows, group, stack, distribute. There are different ways to take a bunch of widgets and automatically create a layout for them. So, and there are some, obviously some settings for the layout to have margins or distances. This is basically, this is it. So you got the leaves, which are these nice widgets, and then you got a bunch of nodes to organize them in a nested, nested way. Because think in mind that now this is like a group of elements that you can have here. Like let's put another rotary, for example. I select the layout node and press Ctrl+ to add another Elementum input. So I can add to this stack also this guy. They all work in the same way. Yeah, they just output the value and expect some position and size. As you see, this slider now is slightly offsetted. Look, because the stack Y takes care of organizing and arranging them in Y, but still leaves you the freedom to arrange them in X, or you can define to also force them to align to, where is it? Yeah, to one axis. Anyway, now these are aligned together, but let's say that we got another one, which is slider 2D. And I want to basically stack this group of objects with this other slider, which is this one, okay, this widget. So I can create another stack X this time. And I'll just connect them through this. And now what you see, let's add some margin. What you see is that this group of widgets, which are controlled here with this stack, get stacked in X with this other one. So this just to show you that you can nest layout nodes and groups of objects inside other stacks and inside other layout nodes. So you can create nested UIs, okay? So this is just a little demo of how you patch.
Can you, at this point, just briefly, because they were already flickering throughout, can you show us the tooltips that you have at the output of the layout and of the...
Thanks to Sebastian, now we have really nice tooltips that show basically the widget themselves. And even in the stack, for example, you see the stack itself. It's really cool. This one, we got it in the widget, and here we already see what come out from there. Or let's say that it's quite vast, the library already. So, and then the tooltip, it's really nice because it shows there is a bunch of nodes to define the style, for example, of these widgets. And we got tooltips also for that. So you can nicely see all the aspects of the style. So it's becoming richer and richer. So now I'd like maybe to, so I released this library last week. I don't remember. Yeah, last week. And probably tonight or tomorrow I will release another version with new things. So like, for example, I'd like to show you something that was in reference, I think. Yeah. Well, first of all, just to give you an overview, really. These are now the widget that comes with Elementa that you can use in your patch. Look, this is all the widgets that we placed in the patch. They are all connected to a cons that goes into our columns node, because this is the layout node that takes care of aligning them. There are two versions of it. One is with the pin groups and the other just expect a spread. But in this patch, in this app patch, you can see, yeah, the widget that we have now, and you see let's say the main widget that you expect from a timeline, from a UI. You can double click any widget and type, and then pressing tab, you pass to the next, for example. Any widget is typable, actually, kind of. This is to open path dialog. We got drop down, plus some stylable objects, which are just shapes, but that you can still use and lay out together with the other elements. And then, yeah, colors, which behaves like the IO boxes in vvvv, with some more advanced things like being able to operate on the individual components. So I expect in the future that more people will contribute new widgets to the library. So yeah, to let it grow. Then there was also, where was it?
We're now at 10 minutes already, just saying.
Okay, just the last things.
Yep.
Like, where is the layout operators? This is just to show you briefly what I mentioned regarding the layout operators, like that you can lay out, like stack these elements together. And an interesting thing is that you get flexibility for the widget. So you can assign certain kind of flexibility to them, to each one of them, or even to the layout nodes, so that they can react to the size of the, well, in this case is, well, I'll show you another one. Then you can align the widget inside the layout node. So since the previous version, it became more advanced, the way you can control the layout of the nodes. Another thing that is not yet in the release, just where is it? How to? But it's really needed. I lost it. No, maybe this is already in the release. I don't even remember. So this is to show that we can also now push. We can create windows. Okay, we can create windows that are on top of the other widgets, in which we can patch exactly in the same way. So this is the Windows content. So I need to fix something here. But it's literally just another patch, Elementa patch, that then I basically connect to the root here using this overlay window object, which takes that little patch there and make an overlay window with it. So there are some custom settings for it. But this is really cool because you can then start to build more advanced UIs where you have pop-up windows. And the last thing, where is it? That I'm working on it right now, actually, today. And just to show you that, okay, we got widgets. They are stacked each other. But now we got also panels. So you can, for example, this one is a stack of elements arranged with columns that goes into this panel node, which creates this UI element itself. It's a widget itself, but it's a window over another world that you can collapse and you can navigate, obviously. So it's a completely new world. Okay, it's totally independent. And that's why you can basically get crazy, because it's just a navigation. You can enable cameras. This panel will have, now there is a panel camera to control the movement. I'm implementing also a scrolling thing so that you will have, now it doesn't react because today I changed it the way they work, but the way it will behave is basically what you expect. It's a scroll bar, so you can scroll your widgets. And so, yeah, this is the way we can then nest really part of the UI inside other widgets and create these new windows basically over other spaces. So that's it, the latest news. And I hope that more people will join the development. So I really need to thank Sebeskudi, which is the other user that is contributing a lot to the library. So he really took care of preparing super cool help patches. So when you download
in the help browser.
Yes. So when you download the library, you got all these topic divided help patches, plus a sort of reference for all the widgets that we have. So with a lot of descriptions, and he made really a crazy nice job. Wow. So yeah, it's really a lot of work. Congrats to him. So yeah, so you're not lost, at least when you download. You can find many reference patches, some overviews with a lot of explanations. Just some widgets defined by by type. Then some more advanced ways to. This is a bug. But yeah, that's it basically. There's a lot of references.
So I have a question. Like in a usual patch flow, like I'm developing my projects, I'm using IO boxes. Did you guys consider some features like we know it also from beta, like to expose basically parameters from the patch window, like with a shortcut easily to Elementa widgets?
Yeah, so okay. That's obviously one of the first next topics would be how to make Elementa talk in general to outside basically. So like, let's say that you want to connect via OSC or via Rabbit control to some devices or whatever. We are working on it. The architecture itself already provide all the features to do it. And I see that you will have. What I didn't mention is that I really follow a programming pattern which is called entity component, so that everything that you can basically you get the widget, but then you can extend them using components, so you can add features to them. And ideally, the way I really like this pattern, and I would stick to it also for this sort of connectivity extension. So in my idea, there should be, I don't know, a sort of exposure component, so that any widget can be visible somehow from a central point to where you can route and the widget and the values. Either could be like in the patch itself or outside the patch via network or whatever. But definitely it's one of the first things that we will work on after this release. Yeah.
And my second question is how far and how deep is, I saw it somewhere and maybe you mentioned it and I missed it, styling of the widgets. Let's say like how deep is styling integration, and is there even, like, how is it styled? Is it even CSS something based, or is it how does the styling works?
Styling recently, thanks to Elias, we did it from scratch like a couple of weeks ago, and now it's really simple to create your own style. To patch it, you can patch it easily, so that you can define any aspect of the widget using patching it. The cool thing is that here you see that the tooltip for the style as well. The cool thing is that in the end, it's not really much different from any CSS styling files. So the next thing that hopefully some user could contribute is a sort of parser that takes a style from CSS style and convert it to Elementa style, because the mechanism in which it works is very similar. So as I would say, it's almost identical. So I don't see any problem in creating that bridge. But still, I mean, you need to have a look at this. Patching it feels really good now. It's quite simple, and you can operate at any level. Now, for example, I'm providing a style sheet to the root that will be basically used as a base style sheet, but you can provide a style sheet at any level of your interface. So at the layout nodes, at the widget themselves, so you can style individual widgets. And you can enable or disable inheritance of the style. So it's already quite advanced, and I think you can play with it a lot.
Cool.
Can you show again where people can download this? Because this is not a preview or anything. This is live. This is what people can use now.
Yes. So if you go on VV contributions, it's up.
Yeah.
Wait. Yes. vl.elementa. Here you got a sort of reference page in which I wrote like how to install it from within VL itself. It's a nugget. It's very simple. So if you open any patch and you just go to your actually manage nuggets command line, in here you type this little string and automatically VL Gamba will take care of downloading the nugget and install it to your local packages. So it will be available in your when you patch.
It looks already incredibly elaborate, and you're still like working on it and adding new features all the time. That's
You don't remember me. I would like to stop at some point, but it's endless. And it feels, I mean, it looks so simple also. Like it's just the basic UI things that you expect. But now what I really wanted is to stay as close as possible to VL itself, to the language, to integrate, to find a sort of paradigm that fits perfectly in the way we patch. No? So that feels natural to deal with this kind of UI operators. So that's also why, a lot of time was spent just to figure out how to structure the library, really.
cool.
Yeah.
I would like to wrap it here. I don't know how this happened. We're now again 2 hours into our stream, I think, nearly. Is it?
Yeah, it's a good timing. It's exactly 2 hours now.
Yeah, I don't know how this happened because we had only 10 minutes for everyone. So
this is how it
thanks
goes.
so much, everybody, for sharing your work and progress. This was very beautiful stuff, very encouraging, I hope, for others to try out your things. And I also hope that we can find more people to present. So if you go to the blog post of the recent call, and we will have a call for the next month ones, please just get in touch if you have something to share. Otherwise, we will get in touch. So either way, but we don't know everything that happens out there. That's the main thing. So make yourself heard.
So yeah, please don't be shy. Just reply to the call. We try to put out the call, maybe also in different networks, so it's really reaching you, and encourage everybody to just present whatever there is.
All right.
Super. So see you next month then.
Yeah, latest.
Latest in a month.
See you tomorrow.
And in between.
Yeah, see you tomorrow at the therapy.
Sure.
Now therapy tomorrow, right? We should
exactly.
Therapy tomorrow evening. Oh, great. Cool.
Super.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Thanks for watching, also online.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.